P3 podcast. This is your host, Sean Bishop, and again, thank y'all for joining. Well, Sunday's football game day is over, and we're on to Monday, and we had some great games yesterday. I have to say, it was some great games going on yesterday. With my predictions for those that watched my podcast yesterday, I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do. A lot of the games, and that's because a lot of the games ended with some last minute heroics for a lot of teams. What I will say is it was a great first week of NFL football. I will say that. Um, with that being said, it was games that were decided by just, I believe every game. No one got blown out in the NFL this week. No one got blown out at all week. Um, it was a couple of games that started out as blowouts. Speaking of which was the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs game, but it didn't end that way. So it was a great weekend for NFL football. And with that being said, let's go over some of the games in which I predicted and stuff like that. So I went 7-7 with the games from Sunday, all of Sunday, including the night game. So I went 7 for 7. So, excuse me. Let's go ahead and get it started. Excuse me. I still got to clear my throat. So, let's talk about the Buccaneers and Falcons game. The Buccaneers defeated the Falcons by a score of 31-24. Jameis Winston threw for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, keep in mind, they were also blowing out the Falcons at first as well. The Falcons came back. The Falcons came back to get the win. So, with that being said, it was just it was a great game for the Buccaneers. They played a good game. I really didn't think it took too long for the Falcons to get into the game. So with that, it just it's hard. It's hard if you're not in the game in the beginning. It's hard, and it took too long for them to bounce back. It really did. It took a long time for the Falcons to bounce back. They did try and bounce back, but again, like I said, it was too hard. It was a little too late for that. So with that being said, it's just it is what it is. So let me just give you a quick glimpse of how the game went and stuff like that. So this play here. Sorry, let's make it like this. This play here was just it's good play by Jameis Winston. Let me make it a little bigger so y'all can see it full screen. And you give it Jameis Winston. I didn't think he was gonna have a game like that, but he did. And here it is. So Jameis Winston, he's rolling out to the right, throws a pass, middle of the not in the middle of the field, but this is Jameis Winston in the whole game. Here, the Falcons are up 13-10, and then he made the whole Atlanta Falcons team miss. This is a fullback that put a move like that. He made the whole Atlanta team miss. Jameis Winston down the field, great catch in the back of the end zone. You got to give it to him. That's a linebacker against a tight end. It's just going to happen like that. And then I think he's going to throw one to, what's his name? Yeah, Mike Evans right there. Great touchdown catch by Mike Evans. You got to give it to the Falcons. They played a great game. I mean, it is what it is. They played an amazing game. And like I said, they defeated the Atlanta Falcons 31-24. Moving on, let's go to the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens, which y'all know I lost that game. I lost the Falcons game because I had the Falcons winning and they lost. And let's go to the Ravens versus the Bills. The Bills came up short. The Ravens win that game 13-7. That's another game I lost. Mike Wallace had 3 receptions for 91 yards and 1 touchdown. Joe Flacco threw 23 for 34 for 258 yards and 1 touchdown. So that's 2 games I lost. Then we have the Bears versus the Texans. And the Bears were up at first in this game. And then the Texans came back and won this game as well. So it was the Bears versus the Texans. And the Texans came out on top. So, again, that was a a good game. Like all the games this weekend, it was a good game. Just like I said, all the games this weekend were good games, but this was even a better game. I believe. So let's get it get it started. I don't know why it's not showing this game. Oh, there it is. Let's try that again. Yeah, the Texans gets the win, so that's one of my first wins of the game. So please excuse the, I don't know, the content that's being shown. You know, they got to show all that extra stuff, but here it is. So this is the pass he threw to DeAndre Hopkins, which was called for. The Brock Osweiler had a good game. You know, he came from Brock Osweiler came from Kansas City, I believe, or if not, it was the Patriots. And Brock Osweiler, great catch by Hopkins. Great catch. You got to give it to him back of the end zone. Amazing catch. So, again, uh, great game by the Houston Texans. They walk away with the win, 23-14. That's one of my games that I won. The other game was the Green Bay Packers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was another good game. All the games were good, like I spoke before. This was another good game. The Jacksonville Jaguars came out to play. They really did. They came out to play, and they gave Green Bay a run for their money at first. They really did. So I was actually shocked that they came out there and played as well as they did. But that was a great game. That was a great game. Packers beat them 27-23. Um, we're gonna keep moving on to the next game. Was the San Diego Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Chargers were up on the Kansas City Chiefs 21-3, I believe, at one point. And the Chiefs rallied. Yeah, it was 21 points, and the Chiefs rallied back from 21-point deficit to come back and beat the San Diego Chargers 33-27. Alex Smith threw 34 for 48, 363 yards, three total touchdowns. As a matter of fact, he had the game-winning touchdown to in overtime to beat the San Diego Chargers. He did an option play to the right and scored to win the game for the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Jeremy Maclin had 5 receptions for 63 yards in a touchdown, and Spencer Ware, the backup running back for Jamal Charles, because he didn't play yesterday, he had 199 total yards and 1 touchdown. Next, that was the other game I wanted. Next game in which I lost was the Oakland Raiders versus the New Orleans Saints. Breeze passed for 437 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he couldn't get the win. So the Raiders beat the Saints 35-34, which was a great game. But the Saints just couldn't come out on top. The next game, and that was a game in which I lost because I thought the Saints was going to get the win over the Raiders. The next game was the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Jets, the New York Jets. The Bengals beat the Jets by 23-22. AJ Green for the Bengals had 12 receptions, 180 yards, 1 touchdown. Andy Dalton threw 30 passes, completed 23 for 366 yards, 1 touchdown. Um, Nugent, the kicker for the Bengals, converts the game-winning field goals for the Bengals with 54 seconds left on the clock. A great game between the Bengals and the Jets, and the Bengals come out on top with a 23-22 victory. The next game, which that game I won as well. The next game, of course, my beloved Eagles played the Cleveland Browns, RG3 on the field, and the very first look at Carson Wentz in a regular season game, and my Eagles prevail. They come out and win 29-10. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz, the rookie, listen, goes for 22 for 37 for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. An amazing day for the rookie quarterback. His one of his main receivers was Jordan Matthews, had 7 receptions for 114 yards and a touchdown. And Ryan Matthews rushed 22 attempts for 77 yards and a touchdown. Go Eagles! Come out on the win. They come out with the win, 29-10. Next game, um, this game right here, I thought the Vikings was gonna lose, but they end up beating the Titans 25-16. Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota throws for 271 yards and 2 TDs, but couldn't get the win. Just to give you a few highlights of the game, I want you to see actually the flip that DeMarco Murray had in the game that was amazing. He had a flip in the game that was pretty amazing. I wish he could have done that in Philly when he was in Philly, but unfortunately he couldn't do that, I guess, for whatever reason. But he had an amazing flip in the game that everybody liked that they're talking about today in the NFL. They're looking at it as the one of the matter of fact, it made one of the plays of the game, plays of the week. I'm sorry, plays of the week. So let's redo that. Again, sorry about that. I don't know why it doesn't for whatever reason it has to do this old content stuff first before it actually shows it. But here it is. Here it comes right now. The amazing leap. 4 yards out. DeMarco Murray scores from 4 yards out on a quick pass out to the out flats, and he dives 4 yards out into the end zone. That was an amazing um, touchdown by DeMarco Murray. I have to give it to him. He did an amazing job. But they came up short, so they lose to the Vikings 25-16. Again, that was a win for me because I picked the Vikings to beat the Titans. That was a close game, but yeah, I picked the Titans to beat the Vikings. Um, One of the late games last night was the Seattle Seahawks versus the Dolphins, and I pick, of course, the Seattle to beat the Dolphins. Um, Seahawks scored a game-winning touchdown with 31 seconds left on the clock. Russell Wilson threw 43 passes for 27 completions, 258 yards, 1 touchdown, and that 1 touchdown was to Doug Baldwin, who had 9 receptions, 92 yards, and that 1 touchdown to win the game for the Seattle Seahawks. So that was one of my wins right there. Then this game that a lot of people had a lot of controversy about was the Dallas Cowboy game versus the New York Giants. The Giants, I picked the Cowboys, even though I'm not a Cowboys fan, because I just felt like Dak Prescott showed a lot potential during the preseason, and Romo was out. So and he had a good game. Dak Prescott had a good game. Can't take anything away from it. He had a real good game, but they came up short to the Giants. Actually, the Dallas Cowboys could have won that game. They probably should have won that game, but it was some poor judgment on the receivers in regards to the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't have any timeouts left with under a minute left in the fourth quarter, and all they needed to get to was in field goal range because the Giants scored with little over a minute left in the fourth quarter to put them up 20-19, and Dallas had no timeouts going onto the field after that score, and they just needed to get in the field goal range, and Dak Prescott throws a pass to Terrence Williams out toward the sideline. Terrence Williams, instead of going out of bounds, chose to cut it inside, and the time ran off the clock. So the Giants defeat the Cowboys 20-19. Giants quarterback Eli Manning threw for 207 yards and 3 touchdowns. So for those that had him for fantasy, he did real well for them this week. I believe he had 1 interception though as well. The other game, that's the game I lost. I lost that Giants game because like I said, I picked the Cowboys to win that game, but they came up short. The other game, late game for yesterday, was the Detroit Lions versus the Indianapolis Colts. Lost this game as well. The Lions defeat the Colts 39-35. Now, with this game, the Lions turned back 18-point comeback. The Colts were up with a little. They scored like a little over, I think, a minute left, maybe a little over a minute left in the game, and was up 35 to 30. What was it? 35 to, because they scored with a game-winning field goal, wasn't it? I believe it was a game-winning field goal that got them. Yeah, because I know this game was. I was looking at this game and I was wondering why the Colts didn't take a timeout to get to kind of like ice the kicker. But for whatever reason, they didn't do it. But anyway, the Lions won this game 39-35. And then I lost that game, of course. And then the other game in which I lost, I just had a bad game. I went 1-3 for the evening games. Um, the other game was the New England Patriots versus the Arizona Cardinals, and the Patriots come out with the win, 23-21. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 24 for 33, 264 yards, and one touchdown. Stephen Gronkowski, he had 3 for 3 field goals, 47-yarder, a 53-yarder, and a 32-yarder. Chris Hogan, the wide receiver, had 3 receptions, 60 yards, and 1 touchdown. So again, like I stated before in the beginning of the podcast, I went 7-7. So I broke even. I wish I could have done a lot better than that, but there are 2 more games left. So with that being said, it's a double hitter for Monday night. And tonight's game is this Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Washington Redskins, and it is at 7:10 Eastern Time, 6:10 Central Time. And we have the new LA Rams, who moved from St. Louis, who are now in LA. The LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. And they play at 10:20 p.m. Eastern, 9:20 p.m. Central Time. With these 2 games, my predictions. I'm going with the Steelers over the Redskins. You just got to like Big Ben over, Kirk Cousins. Josh Norman will be playing in this game. He will be tasked to cover Antonio Brown, and everybody that knows football knows Antonio Brown is a beast on the field. He probably is he is the top receiver right now in the NFL. Next, and right below him, and real close, is probably Odell Beckham, and then Dez Bryant. But I have the Steelers defeating the Washington Redskins. Again, I have the Steelers winning 28 28-17. Steelers over the Redskins 28-17. And then the other game, the late game, the 49ers versus the Rams, and the Rams, they I don't even know who their quarterback is going to be for tonight, but they have the the uh, running back Todd Gurley, who rushed for over 1,100 yards last year as a rookie, the best in the NFL among all rookies. So don't know if Colin Kaepernick is going to get any playing time tonight, but I am going to choose the San Francisco 49ers over the Rams. A lot of people are probably going to be paying attention to Colin Kaepernick because of, the issue in regards to him kneeling or sitting during the national anthem. But let's see if they let him get into the game and get some playing time or whatnot. But I'm going for the 49ers. I'm looking at the 49ers to beat the LA Rams 30-21. 30-21, the 49ers over the Rams on Monday Night Football. Like I said, it's a double hitter. If I can win these 2 games, that'll make me 9-7. I'll deal with 9-7. But I like 9-7 better than 7-7 or 7-9. So the worst could be 7-9, or mediocre could be 8-8. So, but I would love to have 9-7. So with that being said, that's the recap for Sunday's NFL Week One. It is in the books. It is what it is. Like I said, it was some great games this weekend. I thought it was all that it was anticipated it to be. The games were close. There were no blowouts, like I stated, no blowouts in any of the games. So it was definitely a great first week in NFL. So with that being said, I thank everyone for watching the Power 3 podcast. This is your boy, your host, Sean Bishop. Yesterday was 9/11, giving, showing remorse and thanking all those soldiers and all those ones that lost loved ones yesterday during 9/11 back in 2001. We know all about y'all, and our condolences to those who lost loved ones during that time. But again, thank y'all for watching the Power 3 podcast. This is your boy, Sean Bishop. I'm out.